direction. Everywhere, all around the same trees. Where is the way? How to go? Then I heard some voices. So I understood that there will be some people on the way, on the road. So I raised my voice and asked, where are you? They also understood that somebody is lost on the hill. So they said, we'll talk loudly. You please follow our voice and come. So I came down according to that voice and I saw that they are on the road. They asked me, I hope you follow Hindi this much. Mahatma ji, kahan ja rahe the? I was ashamed to tell them I was going to Nilkant. So I only said, I was climbing the hill, pahad chad raha tha. Then they said, Mahatma ji, पहाड़ पर चढ़ने का भी एक रास्ता होता है. This thing happened in 78 and I cannot forget it even today. पहाड़ पर चढ़ने का भी एक रास्ता होता है. Now, एक रास्ता, it may be many rastas. You can go by that hill road. You can go by the regular road. These days, motorable road also is there, 30 kilometers. So you can go by any road, but there has to be a road. You cannot walk without that road. Now, this is what we are seeking. We want a road, a way to travel for getting perfection, for getting what we want, for getting fullness of life. And we understood that we have to change ourselves to get it. Now, there may be many, many paths. Bhagavad Gita has described 18 yogas. But Swami Vivekananda has generalized them into 4. And so we have this yoga of work, worship, psychic control, and philosophy. So, yoga means tat prapti upaya, this method, any particular method to get that Brahma prapti or the Purnatva prapti. Let me read what I call the Swami Vivekananda Chatusutri. Each soul is potentially divine. The goal is to manifest the divine within by controlling nature, external and internal. Do this, either by, you have to do this, otherwise it will be a theory. Do this, either by work or worship or psychic control or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Doctrines or dogma or books or rituals or temples or forms are but secondary details. So, these here in this list, path number 3, yoga by psychic control, is taken up by the great Muni Patanjali. Now, by control can be the way, not the goal. So first, now what my teacher told me was, first negation and then elimination. First we negate what is not perfect. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not this. And then when I get at the reality, then I see that reality is myself, that reality is the world. So then only I become perfect. So first negation and then elimination. Now, according to Patanjali, by Chitta Vritti Nirodh, we become aware of our real nature. But it is not avasthanam as he says, because it is the best reflection. When Chitta Vritti is Niruddha, in that tranquil Chitta, the best reflection of our Swarupa comes. Then we have to understand one more thing as told in the Gita. Yava, Gita 18 chapter, 55 shloka tells us, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvata Tato mam tatvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. That means he knows how much I am and what I am. What is this how much? I am seeing my reflection. I am seeing my perfect reflection. So this I also is nothing but the reality. This reflection also is the reflection of reality. This is how much I am. But in reality, they cannot be two. The split cannot be there. And this knowledge, this gives a flash. And then we get our realization. That is the process. Now, the Nirodha, as prescribed by Patanjali, it will leave a Nirodha Vritti. When I say, I will not allow any Vritti to come to the mind, then there will be a Nirodha Vritti. This attempt of mind itself will take a Vritti. Unless we illuminate in the sense that this is nothing but a reflection. Anyway, let us now follow Patanjali. And he has told us, Vrittaya Panchataya, Klishta Aklishta. On Friday, I left it like a question that Nidra is described by him as Abhava Pratyalambana Vrittir Nidra. And I said, let Patanjali tell us how it can be Klishta. Now, I try to look at the Bhashyakaras, and Vyasa Bhashya is supposed to be the best. Now let me tell about this Vyasa first. It is not the Krishna Dvaipayan Vyas of hoary antiquity. It is not the Badarayan Vyas who has written the Brahma Sutras. He belongs to the 2nd century BC. This Vyas belongs to the 2nd century AD. I have this book here. Patanjali Yoga Darshanam Vyas Bhashya Samvilitam, Hindi Vyakyakar Dr. Suresh Chandra Srivastav of Allahabad University. He has described these 3 Vyasas, and he says that now he is almost devoted to this Vyasa, and yet he says that the commentator Vyas anyway, 1 minute. I have described Vyas in some other place. Dr. Suresh Chandra Srivastava of Allahabad University is bound to admit that his language is not as calm and graceful as that of others, and not so much logical. Absence of all-sided beauty, absence of full clarity of language, and proper order of description is missing. So, now, this Vyasa, there is, in English we say, more royal than the king himself. I feel that this Klishta, Aklishta should be taken in a general sense. Not that each vritti can be Klishta and Aklishta. Because sleep, as we understand it, as Patanjali described, says, Abhava Pratyalambana Vrittir Nidra. Now, how this Abhava Pratyak can lead to any klesha? How can it be any painful? Now, Vyasa has tried. Vyasa has said sleep is of 3 types. We also know it. He says after sleep, if you are fresh, then it is sattvic sleep. Okay. And it is, it does not say joyful, but it is not klishta. But he says sleep can be disturbed sleep. It is not possible. Disturbed night will be there. I passed a restless night. He says sometimes we feel I passed a restless sleep. Is it possible? restlessness vanishes. Avava pratyalamana. Void when it comes, how it can be disturbance? He says sometimes after getting up we feel, oh, I am not yet able to get up. So Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic is described in this way. We know in a different way. After getting up, if we like to take bath and meditate, it is Sattvic sleep. After getting up, as we find generally in households, Mr. says, what vegetable will you make today? The woman thinks, what vegetable should I make? So this is Rajasic sleep. And even after getting up, we are not able to get up, that is Tamasic sleep. But our point is during sleep, we are always happy. I knew nothing, that is void. I slept happily. This nobody can deny. So, let us take this klishta, aklishta in a general sense and exempt this void from any klishta. Now, he says all the panchavrittis we have to check. We are not to allow any vritti. That means, mind you, in Patanjali Yoga Sadhana, we are not allowing our mind to sleep because sleep also is a vritti. And so, we have to check even from sleep. That is the hard practice there. Now, this thing becomes very explicit in the Sutra 12. In the Sutra 12, he says, Sutra 12, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. Tan Nirodha, their control. The control of all the 5 types of vrittis. We have to do Nirod. How? Abhyas and Vairagya. Now we have read up to 11 sutras on that day. So we are taking up this 12th now. Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. Now Abhyasa ordinarily means, always it means repeated practice. Now what we have to practice? That now Patanjali describes in 13, Tatra Sthitau Yatno Abhyasa. So we have taken the Patanjali Sutras regularly now from 12th onwards. In 13 he says, to stay in that state of wavelessness. So first of all, again and again we have to attempt that let there be no waves. If we get a moment of no wave, then we have to stick to that position. Again and again go on trying for getting no wave. But only Abhyasa will not give us that. So, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha is the sentence. That means we have to have a dislike, a positive dislike. It is not only not interested, but against interest. I will give an example from the scriptures. We are hungry, and suppose the best food is kept in front. And then, unluckily, a fly enters our mouth and stomach, and we vomit. What is the feeling at that time? We will feel to run away from that food. We will not be able to eat. We will have a dislike for eating. So, dislike for this today's life is Vairagya. Dislike for this today's life of subject involved in the objects and always full of wave. Even the sleep is full of wave. We do not want any wave. So, this dislike for the present life, Patanjali will tell us what is Vairagya, but by the word itself we are getting these two things. Now, if we have this Vairagya, then our Abhyas succeeds. It is straight out of the Gita 6th chapter. There Arjuna says, Lord, you are described, but I think the mind is extremely restless. To control it will be like controlling air. There Bhagavan says, I know it. Asamshayam mahabhavo mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena tu gruhyate. So these two forces have to be joined. They both have to go together. Now we take up one by one. And 13th he says, Tatra sthito yatno abhyasa. Yatna, effort. At staying tatra means in that waveless state. To stay in that waveless state, the attempt to stay in that waveless state is abhyasa. Then in the 14th, before taking up vairagya, he says, Satu, but that abhyasa, dirgha kala nairantarya satkara sevito dridabhumi. It is one of the famous sutra of Patanjali. People quote this very often. Firstly, it will take a long time. Continued practice is necessary. Nairantarya. And as we said, there should not be any French leave. Today, casual leave, perso earned leave. That will not do. It has to be without a gap. Nairantarya means without a gap. Regular practice. Long time, regular practice, and satkar. That means lovingly, taking full interest in it, not somehow to do, but respectfully, lovingly, we have to do it. Then the bhumi, then that position becomes dridha. So, this abhyasa should go on for a long time, without a gap, and with love, then it will become a fixed in that position. Now, what is Vairagya according to Patanjali? In the 15th, Drishta Anushravika Vishaya Vitushnasya Vashikara Samgya Vairagya. So he has said Vairagya is a force which controls the objects producing any wave in our mind. How? Everything in the world to us, from the first day I have been telling, we found ourselves like a subject in this whole world of objects. And the objects go on tempting us, calling us. Sometimes dislike may be there, sometimes like may be there, but this is our life today. So these objects are called Vishaya. Now, there are many objects we do not see. Here the reference is Swargya. We hear from people, we hear in the Vedas that if you do like this, you will go to Swarga. If that tempts us, we cannot practice. So whether seen or unseen, anushravika means heard, seen or heard objects, we should get a positive dislike, vitrushna. Trishna is like a thirst. We generally have a thirst for the objects, but we should feel like running away from the objects. It does not ask us that we should not live in the world, or we don't have to shut our eyes, ears. But when it becomes like an object towards our mind is going like an enjoyment, then if we get a dislike for that, a power is raised in us. And that power is Vashikar. That means it can control whether any outside object produces a temptation in us or not. Patanjali says the name Vashikara Samgya. The name of this power is called Vairagya. Now, as I said, because this is a textbook, so in the 16th, though not relevant for this position, but when the topic of Vairagya has come, he is telling us there is another supreme Vairagya. He does not mean it here, but he is telling us Tat Param Purusha Khater Guna Vaitrishnam. Tat Param means Parama Vairagya. The supreme Vairagya is what? Purusha Khyate. You know, in Sankhya philosophy, Purusha means we all. The Chetan element is called Purusha. Now, if we know we are Purusha, then Prakriti consists of three gunas. Sattva, Raja, Tama are the constituents of Prakriti, which the Sankhyas or Yoga take to be Jada, separate from us. And we are attracted to that. We feel identified with the gunas of the Prakriti. That is our life. But if we know the real nature of Purusha, then we will not feel attracted to those gunas. This is the supreme Vairagya. Drishta Anushravika Vishay Vitrushna is the Vairagya required here. But Vairagya reaches its supreme height only when we know our real nature as Purusha and that we have nothing to do with these three gunas of Prakriti. Tat Param Purusha Khyate. Purusha Khyate means by the knowledge of Purusha it comes Guna Vaitrishnam, that dislike or no Trishna for the indulgence in the gunas of Prakriti. That he calls as Parama Vairagya. Now, in the first chapter, we should not expect any practical practice. That will come in second chapter. The name of the first chapter is Samadhipat. So in 17, he talks of the first Samadhi. What type of Samadhi? Vitarka, Vichara, Ananda, Asmita, Anugamat, Samprajnata. Samprajnata means I consciousness is retained. That is called Samprajnata. Now, there are 4 steps. He will describe these steps in Sutra 42. But because he has mentioned it here, we have to think. Remember what Patanjali says? Suppose you concentrate on a stool object, any part of your body, anywhere you concentrate, to the exclusion of other parts. Now, when you concentrate, then it is like asking questions. I am asking, what is your real nature? Oh, my hand, what is your real nature? Oh, wall, what is your real nature? So, he says vitarka, means asking questions. But when you go on concentrating, we will lose sight of the full nature of that object. We will see behind this appearance of the wall, behind my heart, behind my hand, there are the subtle elements. And yoga proposes that we get direct perception of the subtle elements. You know, the gross world which we see, the gross body of which we are aware, is the gross form of subtler entities. Our mind is made of 5 subtle elements. Our indriyas are made of individual subtle elements. Our karma shakti is made of subtle elements. And these subtle elements, all the objects are made of subtle elements. And yoga's first step is that we are able to perceive these subtle elements. And that is the practical side of yoga, because science does not propose any vision of the atoms or electrons or protons which it proposes. But Patanjali says by sufficient concentration, you will get subtler perception, and then you are asking questions of that subtle entities. Suppose you see subtle elements. We want to find the real nature of those subtle elements. So that he calls as vichara. These are technical terms, not what we usually use as vitarka. Vitarka is not logic here. Vichara is not thinking here. Vitarka means asking questions of the gross elements for their real nature. Vichara means asking questions of the subtle entities for their real nature. And then Ananda. This is the first time and perhaps last when we meet with this Ananda in Patanjali. And this is on the way. That means we are now concentrating on our mind. We are now concentrating our thinking organ. This is how we proceed. Gross objects, subtle objects, when we get control over that, and then we concentrate on our own mind. Mind has the capacity, and that is very essential. Very essential is that outside objects you can concentrate easily on stars and physical and chemical entities. But when we gain sufficient power of concentration, we are able to concentrate, turn back our mind, and concentrate on the mind itself. That gives joy. Patanjali is not able to tell the reason of it, that we will also not think now. But Patanjali has given the name, it is called Sananda Samadhi. The concentration on the mind itself will generate some joy. Somebody is asking a question? Any question is coming? No. Okay. Then, suppose you concentrate still further. Go on concentrating beyond mind. Then, I, what is called asmita, I consciousness, I feeling. So finally we concentrate on this I feeling. And that gives rise to asmita samadhi. Now all these four together will give us samprajnata samadhi. That means chitta vritti nirodh cannot be made directly. First we have to concentrate, and by this concentration we have to get sufficient power, and then we can restrain our mind from going into will. So that is the nature of description. Though he has said yoga means chitta vritti nirodh, and he has described the vrittis and has told us all the vrittis have to be checked. But how to check it? What is the process? What are the steps? That he is telling here. First we have to learn concentration. And concentration in the beginning will not lose our eye consciousness. That is called samprajnata samadhi. Samprajnata samadhi consists of 4 steps. Sthula, Sukshma. Now he'll tell us later on that this Sukshma includes mind, Sukshma includes Prakriti, and so eye consciousness, Ahankar, is a part of Prakriti. So these 4 types of samadhi will lead to samprajnata samadhi. Now, a scientific treatment is given by Patanjali. Some people try for the asamprajnata samadhi. Asamprajnata means I will not have my eye consciousness and I will try directly for chitta vritti nirodh. Without gaining sufficient experience or control, I am now trying directly for chitta vritti nirodh. So he says in 18, Virama pratyaya abhyasa purva sanskara shesho anya. Virama pratyaya, that means no waves. Pratyaya means experience. Experience that there are no waves. We have to practice this. Not we have to practice, he says some people do like that. Some people, without gaining, these sutras require a proper understanding, order. So he is telling like that, best way is to get concentration. Then some people try without this power of concentration to directly do chitta vritti nirodh, and they check all vrittis, but the subtle sanskaras remain. Now suppose there is a wave in the mind. Suppose a stone is thrown in the lake. Stone is gone, the lake waves appear to have gone, but the waves in the smallest form are in the bottom, and again they will rise. This is called sanskaras. So if somebody tries directly from chitta vritti nirodh, he will be left with sanskaras. Sanskara shesho anyaha. Anya means other than Samprajnata Samadhi. That is Asamprajnata Samadhi. Some people are trying for that and it leaves sanskaras. Then he says this is not the proper way. There is a danger in this. So in the 19th he says it will not lead to perfection. What it will lead to? Bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layanam. Videha. Videha means not having this gross body. Is meaning gods, devatas. And prakriti laya. This is a particular thing accepted by the Sankhya and Yoga. I will become identified with whole prakriti. Instead of this individualized prakriti, if I am trying directly for asamprajnata samadhi, either I will become a god having more powers, devata, or I will become identified with the entire prakriti, bhava pratyayo. That means my experience of this samsara will not go away. I will still be in the transmigratory state. So he is asking us not to try for that. This you have to understand by the context that he says the best way is to go for Samprajnata Samadhi first. Let us hear this. Practice he will describe in the second chapter. But now he is telling the theory of the steps. First we must try for Samprajnata Samadhi. Some people try directly for the Asamprajnata. Instead of leading to perfection, it leaves with sanskara, and then either we become gods or we become identified with the whole prakriti. Our experience of transmigration does not stop. Then what to do? Then how to go in for this asamprajnata samadhi? Up till now, we have not used the word samadhi except for the name of the chapter. But by context, we understand he is talking about samprajnata samadhi and anya means asamprajnata samadhi. Now he tells the proper way of going to asamprajnata samadhi. In 20, Shraddha, Virya, Smruti, Samadhi, Pragya, Purvaka, Iteresham. Iteresham means those who follow properly. Those who follow the proper way of going to Asamprajnata Samadhi, first they have Shraddha. First they know that I don't want to become these gods or Prakriti Leen. I want to realize myself and I shall do it. This is called Shraddha. Shraddha is not only faith. Shraddha is belief in oneself. Today I am not able to do that, but one day I shall realize my goal. That is called Shraddha. So, instead of directly trying for Asamprajnata Samadhi, let us first cultivate Shraddha. Then Virya. Virya is, according to Upanishad, Atmanishta Janita Viryam Balam. That means, if we are attached to ourselves, if we are constantly thinking of our real nature, that gives a special power. You see how much power is necessary? I will quote one poetry, beautiful poetry from Rabindranath Tagore. He is praying to God to give me the strength. Give me the strength to behave uprightly. Give me the strength, in spite of opposition, then let me walk straight. And last line is, give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will with love. Give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will with love. This is called virya. This is the real power. To remove I from my field, this is the power. So let us cultivate faith, power, then samadhi. Here is obvious reference to Samprajnata Samadhi. So, with Shraddha and Virya, let us practice Samprajnata. These are only theory at present. Let us practice Samprajnata Samadhi and then Pragya. This Pragya, he defines long afterwards. Pragya means real knowledge. Pragya means inner knowledge. Pragya means Antargyan. And he is describing this Pragya in 48. Sutra 48 is describing Ritam Bhara Tatra Prajna. That means when we go to Samprajnata Samadhi, all the Samprajnata steps he has described 45, 46, 47, 48. 48 he says that it will generate Prajna based upon truth. Rutam Vara. Rutam is truth. Filled with truth. The inner knowledge filled with truth. So here also he means that going through Samprajnata and getting its result, then we go to Asamprajnata. That will lead us to perfection, according to Patanjali. So here we describe two ways, directly trying for Asamprajnata and Shraddha, Virya, Samprajnata Samadhi and its result, Pragya, and then we try for Asamprajnata Samadhi, then we will get our desired perfection or fullness. So, these are the steps described by Patanjali, and now in this 13, Tatra, we go back to 13 now, Sutra by Sutra, 13, Tatra Sito Yatno Abhyasa. So here it appears that attempt is only through will. Again and again we attempt to stay without a wave. That means we are applying our will. Now let us compare again. I will tell you, yoga is best found in Gita 6th chapter. Though not as many details as Patanjali has given, that is why we are reading Patanjali. We are reading Patanjali because nobody gives so many details. But the 6th chapter of the Gita says, Yato yato nischarati manah chanchalam astiram tatastato niyamaitad atmani eva vasham naye. That means the mind has a tendency to get scattered, go here, there, everywhere. And wherever the mind has gone, catch it, bring it back, and think only of the Atman. There, Shankaracharya has used a beautiful sentence. Atma Satyanubodhena Avabhasi Krutya. That means remember that the object which is tempting us is only an avabhasa, is only a feeling about the truth. All the joy is in ourselves. And this object only is a shadow of that joy. When we tell our mind like this, then only we can control the wave. Simply by will we cannot control, but we use the knowledge of the self and that the whole world is only an appearance of the self. The joys which we feel in, say, eating and drinking and sleeping and touching and tasting are only apparent joys. The real joy is in ourself. So, in this way, avabhasi krutya, seeing that they are only shadows, then we can control the mind, according to Gita 6th chapter. Another point, this continuous effort, it requires one quality of the mind, and that is without getting what we call in these days bore. I become bored now to do. I cannot do this thing again. That should not be there. We have to continuously stick to it. And this is called in Gita Anirvinna Chetasa. Gaudapad calls it, Gaudapad compares the yogic method. He says what yogis are proposing is that you are sitting near, I am not condemning yoga, it is the best means. But let me compare it. Gaudapad says you are sitting near the sea and you have one straw in hand and you dip it and throw the drop. Again you put it, drip it and throw. In this way, you have to be, without getting tired, without getting bored, continuously do it. But he says, even this can be done if we have proper knowledge by upaya, not only by will. So this we have to remember that this aparikhedata, anirvidna chetasa is a good quality. It is very essential in any sadhana. We cannot give up the sadhana in between. But it has to be done with some proper illumination. Now, 13 and 14 tell us that if we make a habit, it will become permanent. That is what Patanjali thinks. If you make a habit of continuously controlling, it will become steady. That is anybody's choice now. Because it will appear to be steady for a longer time. I feel this is something like Mimamsaka is telling us, go on doing good karma, you will live always in heaven. That is moksha. Similarly, if we continue our habit of checking the vrittis, it will become permanent check. That is what Patanjali says. Now, about this Vairagya and Vitrishna, I will give you a supreme example. Visualize. Sarada Devi is sleeping on Sri Ramakrishna's bed. Sri Ramakrishna is addressing his own mind. My mind, this is a woman's body. And people feel it is the most covetable thing. And it is your wife. Nobody can complain, object if you enjoy. Only one thing is there, that if you enjoy, you will become bound. Do you want it? Do not play tricks on my mind. Do you want it? Saying this, he pushed his hand towards her. And what happened? The mind recoiled and he went into samadhi. This is the nature of control which Patanjali is asking us. So, that day when question was asked, whether this restraint which you achieve, will it be like sleep restraint? Now, this tranquility, if we properly achieve the full tranquility, if we properly achieve the knowledge, then it does not break at all. So a supreme example, of course, is a supreme example, but what is control by knowledge, that I have told now. Control by will is always weak. How much strong we will be, how much practice you do. But the control by will cannot be permanent. Control by knowledge becomes permanent. So this is the point. But again, all the things Patanjali is describing are tremendously helpful. We'll know the steps. We'll know our perception will go on changing. We'll perceive the subtle. We'll perceive our own mind. We'll perceive our own self. So we have to proceed in this gradual way. But remember, I have told you already about Vyasa. Now, 42, I have taken the spirit from 42 onwards and told it here itself. I told you Vitarka and all that. So that we have derived from Patanjali's 42 onwards. What is Vitarka, what is Vichar, what is Sananda, and what is Asmita. And Virama Pratyaya Abhyasa Purva Sanskara Sheshu Anya. So directly that I have told you. But if Asamprajnata is tried in this way, now let us go to Sutra 21. I think I am reading continuously, starting from 12th. I read continuously. Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodha. Tatra Sthito Yatno Abhyasa. Satu Dirgha Kala Nairantarya Satkara Sevito Dridabhumi. Drishta Anushravika Vishay Vitrushnasya Vashikara Sangya Vairagyam. 16th is little irrelevant in the context, but he has told us what is Parama Vairagya. Tat Param Purusha Khatir Guna Vaiturishnam. 17th he describes the Samprajnata. Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmita Anugamat Samprajnata. Now, 18, I have described the wrong way of approaching asampragyata, and 19th, the result of that wrong way. 20th is the right way of approaching asampragyata. Now, two more sutras let us read today. Tivra samveganam asanna. That means intensity of feeling, samvega. Intensity of our practice depends upon intensity of our feeling that we want to get at the final result, that we want to get perfection. How much intensely we feel. If we feel so intensely, our journey will be quicker. So don't be afraid that we have to do this and then this and don't do this. If you are tivra samveg, time will be reduced. Then mrudu madhyadi matratvat tatopi vishesha. If you are not intent, if you cannot, then slowly you are proceeding. Time it will take more, but you will reach surely the goal. There can be middling effort, there can be mild effort, or there can be tivra effort. Tivra effort will give you quickly. Middling and mild effort, according to them, you will surely get it, but it will take its own time. So, this is the theory he has given. We have used this Sutra 42, etc., but because of the mention of Vitarka Vichar, so now you understand Patanjali's order is like this. Understand, we have to go to the some other sutras and come back, because that is how he has presented. He has presented here Pragya, which he talks in 48. So, the names are technical names. Vitarka, asking questions of gross things. Vichara, asking questions of subtler things. And the subtler thing include mind. And so concentrating on the mind gives ananda. And behind mind is I consciousness. Concentrating on I consciousness gives asmita samadhi. In this way, we should be master of sampragyata samadhi and then approach nirvikalpa samadhi. Not nirvikalpa is not their name, asamprajnata samadhi. Though if you try to do directly, then when we land into either one will become God or one will become Prakriti Laya, or further progress will be blunted. Check. So that is not the way. We have to go in this way. That is what he has described. Any questions, please?
Pranam Maharaj, there is a comment by Swami Yogatmanandaji in the chat box. There is a comment by Swami Yogatmanandaji.
Will you please relay? Somebody from you will relay the question to me?
Yes. Swami Yogatmanandaji has written, I think Vyasa's commentary is misleading. Swamiji's commentary gives right meaning.
Swamiji's commentary on Patanjali. Huh? Swamiji has commented on Patanjali mostly by his Vedantic background. And so, at many places, he has gone beyond Patanjali, though he is commenting on Patanjali. And that is why Vyas Bhashya people read. I will tell you one information if you like. One yogi school follower in Nagpur, Aprabuddha he calls himself, has badly criticized Swamiji's commentary. And the reason is that it is not according to yoga philosophy. It is according to Vedanta Swamiji has commented upon Patanjali. And so, if we like, we shall follow Swamiji's commentary. But then, what I have been trying to do, Vedantic view of Patanjali. So I am trying to describe Patanjali as orthodox yogis would do, but I am showing the distinctions from Vedanta, and wherever we feel we can choose whether you want this or this. That is what I am trying to do. Okay? Any more questions?
Yes, there is a second question by Ayan Banerjee. Is Uparati and Vairagya same thing?
Uparati and Vairagya? No.
Yes.
No. Uparati Uparati follows Shama and Dama. We control the mind, we control our body, not allowing them to go outside. Bairmukha Vritti. And once we have controlled, never to allow them to go outside is called Uparati. Two meanings are given of Uparati. One is this: once you have withdrawn your Sharira and Man from going outside, keep it there itself. That is one meaning. Other meaning is that Uparati means, especially in Maharashtra, though it is a Vedantic definition, Uparati means give up your house and become a sannyasi. That is called Uparati. Sadanandayati calls it Vihitanam Karmanam Vidhina Parityaga. Methodically, following Virja home, give up your works and go to forest. This is Uparati. Vairagya is a dislike. Vairagya is a force. Vairagya is not a particular thing in life. Vairagya is the force. I have described now Sri Ramakrishna. It is not Uparati. That day I described Holy Mother, that in spite of living there, she is feeling, I don't know what is Ashanti. So Vairagya is a positive. You see how Raga is described? Trishna, Trishna, Trishna. This is inside the mind, and Uparati is in practical life. Inside the mind, we have an attraction towards objects. Now, suppose you get a, what you can call it, anti-attraction. Instead of the mind goes to object, it is going inside. We are not checking the mind now. Because of our knowledge that objects are only reflections, real nature is blissful. And not only that, as Sri Ramakrishna told us, this will lead us to bondage. So this knowledge is there that any objective attraction will lead me to more and more bondage. And so the dislike comes. I described what the people call it. I will tell it in. They say that if somebody has swallowed the fly of knowledge, then one does not like to eat the fruits of life. So this tendency, this is a force going away from the objects. That is Vairagya. Uparati is not allowing. You see, there are different tendencies. Appearance is similar. Uparati means mind should not be allowed to go outside. Vairagya means mind does not want to go outside. Vairagya means mind dislikes to go outside. Vairagya means mind. No, Vairagya is incomplete. Huh? I will tell you one story and then you will understand. What is Vairagya real? I am telling about my teacher. One incident I am telling. He is talking to some householder sadhak. And he has talked for about 15-20 minutes. And then he says, have you understood Anuraga and Vairagya? Have you understood Vairagya and Anuraga? Have you understood Anuraga and Vairagya? You understand this? Anurag means attraction for God. Vairagya means disattraction from the world. And he is changing the words and again telling. I understood that even what is called the importance should not be given to one of these. And that is why, how he can do? He has to take some word first. So he says Anurag and Vairagya. Then he says understood Vairagya and Anurag. Understood Anurag and Vairagya. I understood Vairagya and Anurag. I understood that equal emphasis on attraction to God. Otherwise, how Vairagya people feel? I like good clothes, you like torn clothes. That is not Vairagya. Vairagya means equal attraction for God. In our knowledge, now Patanjali does not talk of God is a different thing. But attraction for the ideal of life, I will say. Attraction for going to perfection. And that is why I do not want the present life. So this inner force is called Vairagya. And this Uparati is mind I have already controlled, body I have already controlled. Let it not go outside now. This attempt is called Uparati. Okay?
Yes, Maharaj, there is a third question. I don't know if there is time today, but I'll read out the question. This is by Mrunalini Konkolikar. Please describe Asmita and types of Samadhi.
Asmita and Ananda Samadhi.
Types of Samadhi. Types. Please describe Asmita and types of Samadhi.
Types of Samadhi. Huh.
Yes.
Types of Samadhi here in Patanjali, 4 types he has described. Samprajnat. And the 5th is Asamprajnat. So 4 types of, actually when we go to description, we will see that 4 becomes 8 also there. So types of Samadhi, Samadhi in Patanjali means concentration. And concentration is gradually from gross to subtle to mind to eye, like that he is describing. So you will take up Samadhi when the chapter comes again. Okay? Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopa Karottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjalira Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Stop.